Okay, I told you the story just recently about a girl who lost her financial support to the tune of about 10,000 a month because she got married. Well, that's a very rare occurrence. All right. Well, uh, a woman losing a lot of money because of a marriage is a bit rare, but for a man to lose, it's much less rare. He often loses through alimony, child support, and even half his property gets taken away. All right. So, in our next story about a good friend of mine who was a professional guy, upper middle class, he decided he was going to avoid the problem of losing all his money in a divorce by marrying a super rich girl. Now, this girl I knew, she was quite attractive, and she was very spoiled. And so, after a few years, she did things like throwing her hairbrush on the floor. And when he'd say, "Darling, you dropped your hairbrush," she would say, "Hey, let the maid pick it up." Well, stuff like that and comments grated on him. So eventually, this couple decided to break up and get a divorce. And my pal, he was so grateful that he'd married a rich girl because now he might actually get something. Ha, ha, ha. And here's what happened. The They go to their first meeting with the divorce lawyers. She has one and she has one. And one of the first things that come up is that, of course, sir, Bob, you do know you're not going to get any money from your wife because all her wealth was left to her in a trust fund. And none of it goes to ex-husbands, boyfriends, or anywhere else. He says, okay, well, I make enough money. I can take care of myself. But at least the alimonies, yeah, no alimony, right? And no child support because she has an income about 30 times my income. And the lawyer says, well, of course, her great grandfather did not found one of the great industrial empires of this country, so you could get out of your responsibility as a husband. Of course, you're going to have to pay some alimony, but we'll keep that to a reasonable amount. Let's say $5,000 a month, something like that, and another 10,000 a month for the child support. And he says, "Wait a second, that's like millionaire stuff. Well, I'm just a humble uh, professional guy, and I don't have that kind of money." He says, "Well, you'll either have that kind of money or you'll go to the pokey." Very good. So the woman pipes up, "Well, yeah, my ancestors didn't make a lot of money, so you could get out of paying your proper child support. We'll work it out, but it's going to be substantial because I'm entitled to uh, the same amount of support as if what we've been living on in the same style, and so you're going to have to pay the rent and the expenses of the condo." He said, "Oh my God." Well, that is the beginning of the sad story. You can guess what the end of the sad story is. He didn't only not get off, not get any money, he ended up paying more than if he'd married a poor woman, probably. And so that is one of my usual horror stories. Now, my mother said, as I told you in the beginning, it's as easy to marry a rich girl as a poor girl. But marrying a rich girl doesn't mean uh, that your marriage isn't like all the other marriages. Basically, a marriage is no good for a guy under any circumstances because you're just putting the state in a very unfriendly judge in bed with you. So I can't think of any advantage to a guy, to any guy, that comes with marriage. You can live with a woman, you can have kids, and maybe after 30 or 40 years, if you trust them completely and there's some advantage, you can be married. But other than that, I agree with all the other men on this site. forget about marriage. And if I've offended any of you ladies, too bad. Uh, but, you know, the way the courts in many countries are just awarding everything to the women and leaving men penniless, terrible, terrible thing. So that ends my session for today. By the way, all these nice sculptures are in beautiful Campione, where I'm hanging out lately. And I think my cameraman should do a panorama of just to show all the nice, this, what a nice place this is, huh? So do a nice panorama. You'll see the town of Lugano coming up, nice mountains. Uh, he's almost a bit, he's almost to, what's this mountain called? Do you know the name? You don't know, okay. But the town of Lugano, which is right across the lake. So if you own a boat, you can be there in 5 minutes. And by car, it's about 10 minutes. So now you've seen another view of this town, and lots of sexy statues around, and nobody paints them. And I just showed you a few today. So that's it. Bye bye.